Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be revisiting a band I've only looked at once before. I think it was late last year, sometime around September I think. I looked at a band called Orbit Culture, a band I'd not heard of before at the time. I looked at a track called Nensha. And they quite surprised me. They weren't what I thought they were going to sound like at all, but I really enjoyed the music. They were really heavy, and you know, they had this really powerful sound that I really liked. And a couple of days ago they released a new track called The Shadowing, which is the track we're going to look at today. I have some lyrics up here, which were thankfully posted underneath the video, so hopefully they're going to be very accurate. Now, videos at the moment are coming few and far between because my camera keeps being lent out at the moment to someone else, and I don't always get it back in time to do my videos. So yeah, looking forward to seeing this because, like I said, last time I checked them out I really enjoyed the track, so we'll jump straight into it. So The Shadowing by Orbit Culture. Let's have a look, see what we have.
Dark
just, that was an amazing piece of music. I've only heard the 2 tracks from this band. I've actually failed to go back and actually look at some of their other stuff, but this is just fantastic. It is brutal, it is heavy, it is so good. They've got those melodic parts in there. I mean, I believe they describe themselves as being like a heavy death groove metal band, and they are just phenomenal. I'm going to have to go and look them up as soon as I've finished on this video. I'm going to look them up, see if I can buy some of their albums, because I do really enjoy this music. It is phenomenal. They mix up the vocal styles, which I've said on numerous occasions is something I really, really enjoy in music. They've got like 2 or 3 different vocal styles going in there. They've got that brutal sort of heavy, it almost sounds like Septic Flesh when they do those sort of brutal death growled vocals. Then they've got those sort of more sort of shouted heavier vocals, and then they've got some slightly more clean vocals sort of going on in there at the same time. And it is just a phenomenal piece of music. I really, really like that. Excuse me. Now, I have a suspicion, I could be entirely wrong here, but the way I'm reading this, it sounds like the song is possibly about, trying to escape a bad relationship, or, trying to get away from a toxic person of some description. I could be entirely wrong here, but that's how I'm reading it. And I'll explain why when we go through the lyrics. Now the song opens up, "The demons are here, the burning's begun, the run of our time, the sanctums they'll burn. You'll face your time, your death, the burning halos. You said you'd never come back here again. I've changed me, all of me. I believe I'll die once I see you here. I believe I'll die once the scar opens again. I believe I'll die once I see you here. I believe I'll fight it again to watch you leave." And in there sort of hints at what I was talking about when I said it sounds like they're trying to escape from a toxic person, maybe a bad relationship or something like that. The opening lines, "The demons are here, the burning's begun." It's like this evil that I've tried to escape has returned. It's come back and it's trying to destroy what's going on. You'll face your time, your death. So it's like, you're going to get what's coming to you eventually. What you've done to me or other people, it's going to come back and bite you in the arse, and you're going to get what you deserve, a sort of karmic sort of thing. It goes, "You said you'd never come back here again. I've changed me, all of me." So it's like, you said you'd never come back here again. You promised you'd leave me alone. You said, you're out of my life. You're never going to be a part of my life again. I've changed who I am. I'm a different person to when I last knew you. Again, I could very well be wrong here, but this is how I'm reading it. And then it came into that chorus, "I believe I'll die once I see you again. I believe I'll die once the scar opens again. I believe I'll die once I see you here. I believe I'll fight it to watch you leave." So it's like seeing you come back into my life. It's sort of, it's like I feel like I'm dying a little bit inside, because I thought I'd gotten rid of you. I thought you were out of my life forever, and seeing you come back again sort of breaks me down that little bit. I believe I'll die once the scar opens again. So it's like seeing you has sort of reopened old wounds. It's sort of brought back those sour and horrible memories of that time when I knew you, that time when you were in my life and you were slowly destroying me, and that's gonna break me a little bit more. It's gonna hurt me a little bit. And then it says, "I believe I'll fight it to watch you leave." So it's like all these feelings and emotions I'm feeling, seeing you again, I'm going to do my damnedest to resist it. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that you get out of my life for good. I'm going to work my damnedest not to let this get to me until you've gone for good. Like I said, I could be entirely wrong, but that's how I'm reading it. It comes back in. You'll face your time, your death, the burning halos. The price we pay through the eyes and the mind of a broken man. It's here to stay, confined in all. The birth, the growth, the life, the shadows uprising. I've lived through the eyes of a man in search of the bright light. I will live once I am free. The souls travel lightly across the plains. The golden star in the sky embrace your heart. And it goes into that chorus again. I believe I'll die once I see you here. I believe I'll die once the scar opens again. I believe I'll die once I see you here. I believe I'll fight it again to watch you leave. You'll face your time. You'll face your time yourself in this world of chaos. So again, the price we pay through the eyes and the mind of a broken man, it's here to stay, confined in all. So it's like what you've done to me has taken a toll. It's going to live with me forever because at that time you broke me. You know, you ruined my life at that time, and it's going to be a part of me forever. It's always going to be part of what makes me me from now onwards. I've lived through the eyes of a man in search of the bright light. So it's like I've lived through a time where everything was dark, everything was bleak, and I was fighting my way to find the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, to find the goodness past everything horrible that's happened to me. I will live once I am free. The soul travels lightly across the plains. You know, once I've gotten rid of all this hurt, all this pain, once I've sort of bypassed it, once I've got past all of this, you know, I will be able to live my life freely once again. I won't have to worry about all this torment that you've put me through. And it came into that chorus again, and then it did that last bit there. You'll face your time yourself in this world of all chaos. So it's eventually you're going to have to come to terms with what you've done. You're going to, karma's going to come back at you, and you're going to get yours. You know, sooner or later, you're going to pay for what you've done to me or all these other people that you have treated in such a cruel, evil way. So, if I'm reading it right, like I said, I could probably be very wrong. But if I'm reading it right, it's got a very strong, very powerful, very good meaning behind it. And like I said, absolutely loved that piece of music. Fast, heavy, brutal. It sounded absolutely amazing. It had that wonderful very quiet melodic moment. I call it quiet, but there wasn't really much about that song that was quiet. It was really, really good, really heavy. It was phenomenal. I absolutely loved that piece of music. Absolutely brilliant. I'm gonna have to go and find their music once I finish doing this video, because like I said, I enjoyed the Nentia track, and I know they've got at least 2 albums out at the moment, maybe a couple more. They've got a couple of EPs floating around as well, so I'm going to have to go and look for those and get my hands on them, because I need to hear more of their stuff. But as for that track, there's not much more I can say on it at the moment, so I'm going to leave that as it is. Now, if anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so. By all means, you can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you can even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel and help me create future content, possibly even improve the quality of those future videos. There is also an option on Patreon where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue, should you so desire. There is a few provisos that go along with that to make things fairer to people who suggest tracks through regular means. And if you do suggest a track through those regular means, such as Facebook or Instagram, or comments below this video, do know it might take me a while to get around to your suggestions, since I do get suggested so many new tracks every single day that my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it will get done eventually. It's just going to take me a while to get around to it, I'm afraid. Excuse me. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the SOPHIE Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes, mainly those aimed towards people of the alternative culture. It's something I believe in very, very strongly, something I'm very, very passionate about. But it's something that I've had to deal with for a large portion of my life, and it's something that has gone on for years and years and years and has gone unnoticed. You know, people don't talk about this. They don't talk about it at all, and it needs to be, you know, something needs to be done about it. You know, because all over the world, every single day, hundreds, maybe even thousands of people get brutally attacked purely because of their taste in music. And, you know, we're not talking about just simple, like, name calling or like the occasional sort of push or shove. We're talking about brutal, violent attacks where people are getting, you know, brutally beaten, you know, sometimes hospitalized with severe injuries like broken bones and sometimes even worse. And nothing ever gets said about it, nothing ever gets done about it, and that is something that really needs to change. The last time there was any widespread media coverage of something like this was about 12 to 13 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were violently attacked by a group of 5 or 6 people who brutally beat them, punched them, kicked them, stamped on their heads so violently that both of them ended up in a coma. Now, Rob Maltby, he did thankfully survive. He was in a coma for around about a week, maybe a little bit longer. I can't remember exactly how long. But Sophie Lancaster was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries and died. This girl, she was 20 years old at the time, I think, was basically beaten to death because she listened to alternative music. And this happened, like I said, 12, 13 years ago. And that was the last time anything was ever really said about it. But I can guarantee you, in that time, hundreds, maybe even thousands of people from the alternative community have suffered similar attacks, but nothing has been said. And the reason of this is because nobody's died. And that is disgusting on the face of it. You know, it shouldn't take the death of someone for something like this to be spoken about. You know, every single day we hear about all these other hate crimes from around the world. We hear about sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, racial hatred, religious hatred, you know, ableism. You know, we hear about these sorts of things every single day. You know, from the most violent of these crimes where someone gets murdered because of the colour of their skin or their religious beliefs or their sexual identity. And we, down to like the simplest, well, say simplest, down to the most pathetic of these crimes, where like entitled Karen is phoning the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public area. You know, we hear these every single day in all kinds of media, but we don't hear about these people that are getting violently attacked and beaten to within an inch of their lives purely because of their taste in music. Now, people have argued with me that this isn't a hate crime, but it is. It's the very essence of a hate crime. If you attack someone because you hate something about that person, whether it be the colour of their skin, their religious belief, or their sexual identity, or what have you, it's a hate crime. You know, if you hate something about that person, you know, even if it's their taste in music, if you're attacking someone because you hate that thing about them, it is a hate crime. And something needs to be done, because this is getting widely ignored, and that needs to change, because, you know, people are, you know, they're really suffering. People are getting severely injured because of this, and it's just getting ignored. And the people who are committing these crimes are essentially just getting away with it, and that is unacceptable. You know, we cannot allow this to continue, and this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter slowly die over the course of 2 weeks. You know, they want to stop what happened to Sophie from ever happening again. It's something that should never have happened in the first place, but we most definitely cannot allow it to happen again. So something needs to be done. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their main goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any way, obviously don't feel obliged to do so, but if you can help them out in any small way, whether it's like a small donation through their website or something as simple as one of these Sophie wristbands you can get off their web store, the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we bring more attention to this, the sooner more people will start talking about it, the sooner something is likely to get done, and the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.